everybody, welcome to the Carson Alexander podcast. Today we are actually doing our first episode, and I have a guy who has helped me in my business that I do day to day. He's impacted a lot of people, and we are actually at his event for the industry. I have a guy who's been doing junk removal for at least 16 years. He's an industry veteran. He does a lot on social media. He helps a lot of small business owners go in the right direction. I have none other than Ricardo Hernandez. How's it going, my friend?
What's up, guys? Dude, I'm loving it. Dallas Junk Removal Summit. We're here at my headquarters, ready to pump it out, and we got a podcast going. I'm like totally blown away by this, man. I don't know. It took me forever to build it up. It looks professional. Hernario said it looks good. Ivan thinks it looks good.
Yeah. This is the first time I've actually seen your property here in Dallas, and I gotta say it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you like it?
I mean, you have, all the trucks, equipment, a facility. I know that Ricardo actually does a haunted house on this property, and he also has a Christmas event at this property as well. So you've been able to utilize this property for quite a few things.
Yes, I sure do. So every October we have a haunted house. But I want to tell you that foremost, it's a junk removal business. I have my trucks, I have my trailers, I have my equipment, I have my dumpsters. So, and then I just, a couple of years ago, well actually 4 years ago, I saw the ability that, hey, I'm paying rent here, I might as well use it for something else. And I ran a haunted house and we ran a Christmas, but we're a junk removal service, and now we have a summit here.
Yeah. Well, and so one of the things that you're known for is your activity on social media.
Okay, yeah.
So when it comes to social media, how do you think that you have leveraged social media to help grow your junk removal business? What platforms have you used, and how do you turn your content into active income for your business?
That's great. I'm glad you brought that up. So, of course, SEO works off clicks, right? As many people can come to my website, the better off I am. And even if I post something controversial, something funny, you ever heard the term, any bad publicity is good publicity, right? So I use that, honestly, to leverage my business. I use the people that hate me and the people that love me to come to my website, come to my social media. Of course, I am very active on it. I post a lot of videos. I use Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the big ones to help influence my brand, first of all. But second, honestly, it's for my customers, not for other junk companies across the US. But junk companies started asking me questions. I took advantage of it about maybe, 10 years ago, and since then I'm here. And look, we got a junk removal summit. We got a podcast, brother. We're in Dallas.
Yeah. So whenever you started off your junk removal business, how did you go about actually finding out about it? What sparked the interest of you getting into the industry, and why did you choose junk removal over a different home service business? What was it about junk removal that had you go all in?
So honestly, I started this 16 years ago. I was doing moving. I had my dad's van who he let me borrow. It was a Dodge 3500. Long story short, one of my first customers that I started doing moving to was a wealthy woman, Hailey Honda, and I went to her home. She was the owner, and she calls me in the garage and she says, hey man, I need you to move this stuff. And I start loading it like I'm a moving company, right? I thought honestly I was a moving company, and I start moving everything. And she says, yeah, I want you to move it from here to the landfill. And I'm like, no, I move people. And she gave me the idea of taking it to the landfill and charging people after she paid me $400. And I was like, 400 dubs? Are you kidding me? For moving trash from one place to another? Don't forget, this is 14 years ago almost, right? And I'm thinking, $400 for moving trash? Yeah, I'll do this more often. So I used what was near to me, what was online, and I started using Craigslist. Of course, Craigslist was my golden egg, and Facebook, and I started posting on another website called Oodle, and from there on it just started getting a lot more busier, and that's honestly what I use, but that was the reason why I started junk removal.
Yeah, and so, whenever I actually got interested in doing junk removal, I was looking across social media and I noticed your videos started coming up, and I thought, hey, let me reach out. You have like a mentorship program that I was involved with, and you really helped show me the possibilities of making a lot of money. Before I was in a 9-to-5 job, working for someone else. how is it easier or is it more difficult for people nowadays to get started running their own junk removal business? And what can someone expect out of getting started in the industry?
You know, I think it's, listen, 16 years ago when I started, Carson, it's just the same challenge you're going to have today. The only difference is that today there's people out helping you. There's out people tricking you. There's out people scamming you. There's out people offering different services. But the information is out there. It's still out there. It's really, you just got to weed out the people that aren't here to help and the people that are here to help. You know, and this summit is the perfect example. I'm not selling anything. I have nothing to sell. You know what I mean? I'm giving the information so this industry can grow. And so the brand junk removal, that service industry, that brand junk removal will get out there, and customers and clients and commercial business will actually know what the hell we do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that whenever I had first caught the entrepreneurship bug, I'm 24 right now, and so I'd caught it, around 18. I was really wanting to figure out what business to start, and there's a lot of things out there like e-commerce, people say that they make money day trading or crypto, things like that. What do you have to say about some of these other online, highly promoted make money online? What do you have to say about those types of businesses? And what have you seen in terms of junk removal as far as it being more of a proven industry to fall behind if you want to become an entrepreneur?
I'm glad you brought that up, and I also caught the bug. I caught the bed bug, right? And that's the bug we were talking about?
It could be.
Okay. I caught the same thing, but my thing is this. I think hard work always pays off. I think hard work is the number one thing you need in this business. There's going to be a lot of people in your ear telling you different things. I think the innovation of this business is important. I think, just like I said before, following the right mentor, following the right person, knowing who you can believe in and trust in this business. There's a lot of scams out there, guys. I think y'all need to understand there's a lot of scams. Thumbtack, Yelp, even Google Ads, Google Preferred, a lot of things out there that will seduce you into your business falling into and then discouraging you and you losing money. But overall, hard work is always going to beat all that. And I think if you put hard work into this business, you will be successful in it,
So, someone like me, whenever I had come across the junk removal space, I knew that I was ready to work hard and get to work. So what was some of the advice that you gave to me early on in my journey, and what advice you would give to someone now that's looking to get started in junk removal?
Stop spending money. This business is an easy startup business. You just need a couple of $1,000 and a good truck and a good trailer, or just a good truck with a big box, Don't fall into the fact of like Workies or companies selling you CRM software. You don't need that. It's you in a truck. Go out there and work. Put the hard work that your dad gave you and go out there and bust your ass, man, and you'll make this money. Stop spending money on things you don't need. I built my business on this. Of course, you can see my trucks, you can see my property, you can see my logo. It's popular. I've grown it into something that I think a lot of people would enjoy having.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, that know you, see the property, they see all the vehicles here, they see the logo, but they don't realize where you started, and that was your dad's van that you borrowed.
Definitely.
So using some of those things of, hey, is there a family member that I can borrow a truck from, just to see if this industry is something that I could see myself, cutting ties with my 9-to-5 job and doing full time. And so I think that's, where a lot of people go wrong, is whenever they do go out and buy those things like the software, the trucks, all of those overhead expenses. And junk removal, you've told me in the past that it wasn't made for that. Mm-hmm. It was made to be, a solopreneur business. So where are people going wrong today as they try to scale their junk removal business? Where do you see them making mistakes as they scale?
Employees. I think you got to be really careful on the people that you trust, in the trucks that you get, the financing. Oh man, like I said, there's so many scams out there. People love sticking a $60,000, $70,000 truck to you, where you're paying $1,000 in a vehicle, another $1,000 in insurance. You're buying CRMs, you're buying PPC, pay-per-click. ads. You're buying traffic to get to your website. So I get a lot of grief, Carson. I don't know if you know, but I get a lot of grief from a lot of people out there for refrigerator removals. I pick up refrigerators for 45 bucks, and I'll continue to probably to the end of my life. But think about somebody that does it. They go do, their minimum is $150. They go out, they do a $150 job. They pay $50 for that job. They also put a few bucks in gas and even dumped it, right? What do they really make? 45 bucks in the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've already got the $45, and guess what? I didn't have to pay for anything. I didn't have to pay for that click. I didn't have to pay for that lead. I didn't have to pay for that preferred ad from Angie's List or Thumbtack or anyone like that. I directly went straight to the customer. And trust me, doing the refrigerator removals for $45 puts my foot right in the door. You know what I mean? Just recently I was hired from a lady that used me 2 years ago for a fridge and made $1,000 bucks. And that happens all the time. 300 here, 250 here, 400 from a refrigerator that I'd done years ago. Of course, don't forget I've been doing this for over 16 years, so it makes a big difference too. That helps out a lot too.
Yeah, and so you've been doing junk removal for a long time. A lot of people decide to go different routes in their business. Some of them end up, they decide to franchise their business model to other, entrepreneurs. They decide to, end junk removal in the first 5 years. You've been doing junk removal so long. What ways have you scaled past doing junk removal every day, and how have you leveraged what you've built to make more money? And I know some of the things that we've discussed that would be like that is your haunted house.
Yeah.
So how did you utilize all of the things you've done with junk removal and go into a completely different space and make more money in another business than junk removal business owners would make, in their whole career doing junk removal?
Yeah, the haunted house is an adventure. First of all, it takes a lot of employees. We ran 35 employees this past year. But I want to be honest with you, Carson, what I do in almost 9 months in my junk removal service, I do it in 11 days doing my haunted house. The haunted house has a lot of upsell, has a lot of profit, but overall, it's such an income hauler for me, and it's part of my business. It's part of JunKGuys. I started it with an idea from a friend. He said, hey man, maybe you have this big old barn, this big old warehouse, maybe we should have a haunted house. And the first year we opened it, we made, I think, 480 bucks. And the second year we made $890. And then the third year, well, that was the year that we just took off. So we made a lot of money. And this past year we made a lot more money. We have a 3-hour wait. I think last year we had like a 2-hour wait, and this year was about a 3-hour wait. So it is very, it's just about utilizing every square foot. So I look at square feet in a building. I look at a square feet and what I can do with that square foot. Well, every part of this headquarters, I use it for my junk removal service, but I also use it for my haunted house. And picking up these refrigerators for $45, well, how do you think I made walls for my haunted house?
Yeah.
So there you go.
You find opportunity in spaces that maybe people aren't seeing.
And the normal haunted house owner would have to go buy a scene. I don't buy a scene. I get it for free. As a matter of fact, they pay me for that scene. So
out of your entire haunted house, whenever someone first walks in the haunted house and walks out, how long are they in that haunted house for?
So the longest was about 45 minutes. The shortest was about 5 minutes. So can you imagine how scared they were at 5 minutes? Where they just ran through it, jumped over fridges. We had some young kids that were jumping on top of the fridges just to get out of the haunted house. But the normal person, normally 15 to 18 minutes. 20 bucks, that's well worth it, man, for $20. We also, free parking. A lot of haunted houses charge for free parking. We don't. I mean,
the advantage, the reason you're able to provide such a cheap price is because all of the overhead of having to purchase all of the props and items and things to make, and having to find a location, you already have all of that, in reserve. So it's pretty cool just to see you go from junk removal and see all the things that you're bringing in and come up with an idea of, hey, like, I could use this to do something like a haunted house and make more money doing that than I actually do in junk removal. I got 16 years in this business, and I have 4 years in the haunted house business. Can you imagine where I'd be with 16 years in a haunted house? I think about it all the time. Don't worry about it, So let's say that, the last question I kind of want to wrap up here with if someone has seen your story and they want to start a junk removal business today and they want to go and get started, how do they go about getting their first lead, and what do they need to do in order to get business? How do they make the first step in making this business a reality?
I think definitely you need a website. I think the first day, get a name, a catchy name, be local, attack your local market. If you're from Dallas, you want to attack Dallas. If you're from Arlington, you want to stay in Arlington. Get a website. As soon as you get a name, a website, the next thing you want to do is get a Google My Business account, which is now called Google Places or Google Maps. I think that's what it's called now. So it's changed names. That's how old I am in this business. It's changed name 3 times. Get that and your phone will ring. Then I'd go to alternatives such as social media, Craigslist, Facebook, just post, offer up, stuff like that. And just show people your services. But mainly I would stick to Google My Business and update Google My Business, of course. But honestly, the key is your website. If you can't tell people on your website that you offer hot tub removal and then you're wondering why your competitors get so many hot tubs, something wrong with your website, you know what I mean? If you're not getting a lot of satellite dishes because your website doesn't say satellite dishes, I mean, that's like common sense, you know what I mean? Offer the service, and I think we all have that. I think 90% of all these junk removal companies are gonna have that problem, where we don't offer the service, but we want the service. We want the customer to call us to do an eviction, but on our website, it doesn't say we do evictions. We can't answer those questions. How can we help out with an eviction? What do evictions cost? How big evictions do we attack? You know, we can't answer those questions, and Google wants you to answer those questions. How much? When? How big evictions do you do? Do you do evictions with bed bugs? Do you do evictions that have hoarder houses? You know what I mean? Because an eviction with a hoarder, an eviction is one thing. Eviction and a hoarder house is a totally different ballgame. An eviction with needles is a total different ballgame. I mean, now you talk about hazmat, you know what I mean? And we are certified, JunKGuys is certified for hazmat and has Whopper. And we do get some of those jobs, but it's a very high, end margin job.
And I think for those listening, if you want a website that you can see to get an idea of what your website should look like, I know Ricardo has junkguysdfw.net. You can take a look at his website. I have junkguysnashville.com, and we have a family of brands under JunKGuys. You can go to our About Us page on junkguysnashville.com and go visit all of the different JunKGuys websites. We have a lot of information on our websites. As we wrap this up, is there anything that you want to tell the listeners, or maybe how they can reach?
We have a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions on this phone. I didn't know if we could answer some of them. But is there a game or finish line for you doing junk removal? Oh, that's from Jamon. That's JunKGuys already asked me that question. And honestly, I think there is. I think that I have about 7 more years in this business, hopefully. I know there'll be good years, and I'll concentrate on this. But eventually, I would like to build my haunted house. You know what I mean? I would like to. Another question is, the end game is Tim Doss. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Who maybe 16 nuts. Okay, that's yeah. We won't read that. Oh, okay. Yes, the summit starts the meet and greet starts from 6 to 9 o'clock tonight. So there are people here. There's Ivan right here from Florida, right? Hanario from Tampa Bay. There's some people that rolled up a little early. They had nothing else to do but come here and chill out with us. And we're chilling out doing this, and I appreciate you interviewing for your podcast, man.
Yeah.
When does it come out? Do you know?
Well, the people will know when they see this episode.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. And I appreciate you interviewing me, brother.
Yeah.